Okay, great. So thank you everyone for joining our marathon gear clinic. We're super excited about this one. Just a few little bits of housekeeping before we get started. I am going to be disabling the chat and we will use the Q&A function. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you should see the Q&A button there. That'll open that up for you. Feel free to put any and all questions in there. You can also look under the answered questions to see which ones have already been answered. So there might be something that, you know, somebody already asked. So we'll hopefully avoid too many duplicates there. But yeah, feel free to put anything in there. We'll also have time for questions at the end. If anybody would rather ask their question live, that's great. We love that. Um, what else do I have to say? Any questions that you have that pop into your head that are not gear related, feel free to just email us. I will drop our email address in the chat, but it's teamforkids@nyrr.org. So anything not gear related, I know sometimes when we have these calls, you'll hear something and it'll make you think about something else. So feel free to email us anything that you guys have. We're always happy to help. I think that's it for housekeeping. And without any further ado, joining us tonight, we have Atia Brown from New Balance. And Atia will be talking about any and all gear that you're going to need. And so really excited for this expertise that's coming our way. So I'll leave it to you, Atia.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Atia. I am currently the technical field representative for New Balance. I am always in the Run Hub, so if you've seen me in there, next time say hi. And I pretty much have about 30 account stores that I visit throughout the New York City territory, helping them know the information on all the product that we have on the market right now to help you guys out with these long runs. So gearing up for marathon season, we're about 12 weeks away. So some of the things that you want to be thinking about at this point are a few things. So we'll start with the first, which is going to be your running shoes. You want to think about how much mileage you have on your shoes currently and how much longer you have to go with your training and race day, right? So thinking about that, this is a great time to go look into your options, what's on the market. So we'll start there. I can break down some shoes for us real quick. Starting with our Fresh Foam collection, I would love to show you guys our 1080. This is the shoe that I believe is going to be provided to the training group. This shoe is going to be your all-around great training day shoe. You can wear this to the gym as well if you're going to be doing some lifting to do some, I guess you would say, counteractive working out. So HIIT classes or any weightlifting to build up strength. You can also use this in the gym. I love this shoe. It's going to be not our max cushion running shoe, but we would consider this premium. It's really comfortable. It's going to have a nice vertical flex groove. Excuse me, this one is already worn. And if it's going in and out, it's because my background is on. But this shoe is going to be all around a great training shoe. Definitely want to have a solid race day option if you're going to also be training in this shoe. So just want to put that out there that this is going to be a great option for training. Many people have ran the marathon in this shoe as well, but they have had a second pair to have as well. We'll go into that. The next option I'm going to bring to you guys would be the sister of that model for those people out there that need to have stability in their shoes. So this is the Vongo V6. It is technically the 1080's cousin. I wouldn't say sister. So it has a really cool stability plane in there that's going to help make sure that you're not overpronating. So if you're someone that has that issue, look into this model. It is the Vongo V6, also going to be a 6 millimeter drop, really supportive, lots of cushioning. Now, for those of you that may not like the higher platform shoes, they don't feel as safe in those. Trust me, I understand. I get it. You're worried about maybe twisting an ankle, taking a tumble. I understand. So in those regards, we'll have something for you on the market right now called the 880. This is the version 14. It is going to be a medium cushioning shoe. So if you look at that sole, it is not as thick as the 1080. This is going to be a 8 millimeter drop, very comfortable, very neutral, something that can also be worn for HIIT classes, something that can also be worn for training inside a facility on the treadmill in the gym. Love this model, very comfortable. I've worn it many, many times for walking and running. It is personally a favorite of mine. And this is only $140, so very reasonably priced. The 1080 is going to be around 160, just so you have comparison. And moving on to our race day, or a straight up training shoe that's going to be similar to what you want to wear on race day, we have two of our pretty popular models on the market right now. It's going to be the Super Comp Trainer. This is going to be the version 3 model. Let me back up. So there we go. So this is the version 3 model that just came out this month. It is incredible. I actually had the opportunity to wear this today and yesterday. It is pretty light. So it's a very lightweight shoe. It does have a carbon fiber plate in the center. This model is made a lot lighter than the previous version. So something to know is that your race day training shoes are going to be very light, something that you may not be used to if you've been training in something that's a little bit thicker on the heavier side. So I would say definitely take it out there to get adjusted, maybe do a mile or two in it just to feel like, is this something that I can get adjusted to quickly? Know that there are so many different running stores out in New York City that allow you to test shoes out before you commit to them. So please take advantage of that. Just putting that out there. Fleet Feet is one of them. I work with them pretty often. This is going to be your training shoe. Our next model is going to be your race day shoe. This is going to be the Super Comp Elite V4. This is on the market right now. This is the first colorway that it came out in. It also comes out in the same colorway as the trainer, which is that Tiffany blue color with white and black. This is going to be your race day shoe. So it also has that lightweight carbon fiber plate in there to help with propulsion, to help you have a little bit more of stability as well as energy return. It's going to allow you to really bounce off of that plate and keep your pace going. I love this model because it does have a phantom fit upper, so really nice and breathable, nice roomy toe box so your feet are not all crushed up in there. This is definitely worth trying out if you have an opportunity to go to the Run Hub, or you can go into any of our New Balance locations in the city as well. But this is going to be the model that we would suggest for your marathon race day. So look into this. This model is going to be $250. Just put it out there. This is going to be the shoe that helps you break that PR. It's a really good option. So moving out of the shoe category, the next thing that I would consider, oh, are we going to do questions first?
Well, can I just interrupt you because there's one question that's pertinent to the shoes. Um,
Yes.
we had a question. What was the name of the third shoe that you
The
showed? If you
third shoe,
remember the order.
I do remember the order. So
You're
this
the
is
best.
the 880.
Perfect.
Yep, 880. And the version that is available right now on the market is version 14.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so now we're going to speed it up and move into apparel quickly. Just have some suggestions out there. I've been doing the expert training gear runs for a while and the panels. I want to start with something as simple as socks, right? So, what socks are we wearing? Are they going to have compression? So that's something that people typically ask if they are new. You have to try these things out. So I would say this is a great opportunity for you to try compression socks now to see if you like how they feel. You don't want to wait until 2 to 3 weeks out to try to introduce these things into your daily practices. So make sure you have some really good compressive socks. If you don't like compression, just make sure you have something that's going to stay up, not roll under the foot after a few miles. That can be very uncomfortable and very distracting, and you don't want to get any blisters. So starting with something as simple as socks, that's where we're going to start. The next thing you want to keep thinking about is moisture wicking fabrics. We're going to start with our base layer. So we're talking about undergarments, right? That no one talks about undergarments. Do you have something that's going to be lightweight and breathable? Typically, cotton is something that we will recommend for our ladies and for our men, but there are so many other options on the market now in different athletic apparel companies where they have a sweat wicking breathable mesh material, or they will have something that might be quick drying. There's so many options, but start thinking from base layer all the way up. So we started with socks, started with undergarments, breathable sweat wicking layers. Same with sports bras. I have one to show here. This is our Q Speed option that's on the market. It looks a little bit more updated at this point, but something that is a little bit more high neck for a higher support is a really good option. Sometimes we have bras that come with pockets for cell phones, for gels. That is also a really cool option to have. I would say go out there and try them on. Right? It doesn't hurt to go into a store to just see how you like them, how they fit. You don't have to commit to something right away. But at this 12-week mark, this is when you want to start thinking about how do I make sure I'm the best prepared for race day? And you want to start there. So we got our base layers. We're going to move on to our top layers. So let's also get into our bottom. So I have two shorts to show you. So this is one that's going to be more of like a compressive biker short. This is going to be the NB Sleek 6-inch top, excuse me, bottoms shorts. Can't really see them that well. Sorry. Um, so these are going to have pockets on the side, right? So they're going to be like a spandex material if you can't tell from the way that my camera is operating at this moment. But they also have this really cool elastic band on the bottom to make sure that they don't roll up while you're running. I love this. It's something that I really appreciate about these shorts when I'm out running and walking with the dog. So definitely want to think about what bottoms you're going to wear if you're typically used to wearing a traditional running short, which is going to be something similar to what I have right here, which is considered the RC short. This is going to be the 5-inch model. It does have a pocket in the back. Unlike the model I just showed you, those have pockets on the sides. So it's really about what you want. If you're someone that doesn't like to run with their cell phone in their shorts, then this could be a good option for you because maybe this one you can just put your gels and your ID, right? So something very simple in the back. Whereas the ones that I just showed you with the pockets on the side, that could be for the runner that wants to run with their cell phone to listen to music, that has a little bit extra support and compression in the pocket onto the body. Really like those two models. If you're someone that doesn't like to run in shorts, the legging option is also available for you, but I would highly suggest start to try those things on now, right? Don't wait until a month or two. Like, don't, just start now, start running in all weather. I know it's a little scary to run in the rain sometimes, but this is a great time to just get adjusted to that. So when you're thinking about race day and maybe the weather doesn't go as you predicted it to, you have experience there. So moving on to our top layers, I would highly suggest to get either a tank or a short sleeve running top that is breathable, that has some either a mesh option, or it's just going to have that MB ice is even a model, a technology we have in our fabric that helps things dry a lot quicker, and is very sweat wicking. Make sure it's lightweight, and I highly suggest getting colors that are not going to absorb the sun. So no dark colors, bright colors, light colors are always a great suggestion, because you don't know what the weather is going to be. So you want to just be prepared for anything. So I wouldn't really suggest black. I know that that's a typical color that we all love to wear in New York City, but maybe think outside the box this time. Bringing it on up. accessory, hats. Okay. So we have a bunch of different paneled hats out on the market. I would suggest either a 5 panel hat that has the pocket in it, or you can do a hat like this that creates a hole big enough for a woman to put, or a man to put a ponytail through it. So it's a little cut open back here. So you can wear a high ponytail or even a low ponytail, and you'll still be able to have the coverage over your eyes with the brim. So that's a good option, and it also is reflective all around. Please note that you also want to make sure that any of these products that you're getting, whether it be your shorts, whether it be something on your socks or your shoes, reflectivity is going to be very useful. You don't know what race day morning is going to look like. It could be a little dark on the darker side, being that it will be in November. We don't know. So just another suggestion, you want to make sure that people can see you on the road. Always doesn't hurt to have a little bit of reflectivity in the products that you're buying. And then we talked about tops, we talked about bottoms, we talked about undergarments, hats. We got one more layer to consider. So we want to have that jacket, right? So the option that I have here is a little bit on the heavier side. This is not something that I would necessarily say that I would probably bring. I'll probably bring something a little bit lighter because this is a little on the heavier side. Have a water resistant or waterproof layer just in case it rains. We want to consider that because one, not everyone is going to want to be completely drenched the entire time they're running. And you also want to think about not, if it's going to be on the cooler side towards the end of the run, you want to have a layer so you're not getting sick, just to be, completely transparent. I would say have something that is super lightweight, that is packable, meaning that it can fold into itself. It's something that either can tie easily around your waist, or you can get an option that you can find either at a secondhand consignment place where you can then donate that piece of clothing towards the end of the race or the middle of the race. Maybe you decide that you want to, give it back to where you got it from. But I would say that maybe this layer for race day is not the item that you pay $100 or $200 for. Don't waste your money. I would say think, you know, let's say either secondhand or Walmart, Gap, just throwing those things out there. You don't want to waste your money because you might tie it around your waist and then at mile 15 you realize it is slid down and it is gone. So just putting that out there, just have that in the back of your mind. Layering when you get to that point, I would say always get your layers, either have things that you don't mind donating or getting rid of, or again going to secondhand. So we're thinking cotton long sleeve shirts, morning of, day of, again that breathable, lightweight, waterproof or water resistant shell is always a good option. And then the last few things I'll talk about, I don't necessarily have to show you, but I would say make sure that if you're going to be bringing hydration with you, that you look into having either your handheld option or your fanny pack option. Just think about those things now. Try different models that you see that are out there. There's also the hydration vest, but I don't want to suggest that right this moment. It's just an option. Race day can look a little different. So just put that out there. GPS watch, whatever watch you're going to be using, continue to see how the battery life is operating. Make sure that it's charging the way that it needs to. Make sure that you're familiarizing yourself with all of its functions, whether you have a Garmin, whether you're running with an Apple Watch. Just these are things to think about leading up into this 12-week period. Running glasses. If you're someone that doesn't like to run with a hat, maybe you start to invest in your shades, your running shades. There's so many options on the market. Look into some. Amazon is available. There's just so many stores. Just go try some on, see how you feel in them. Again, if you're not someone who likes to run with a hat, then I would also consider your sunscreen. So what sunscreen are you starting to wear at this point? You should already been wearing sunscreen all summer, so you should probably be familiar with that. And then the other two things are pretty something that are outside of the category I like to talk about, but something to think about would be your nutrition, how you're hydrating during your training runs, and then your fuel, your carrying fuel. What gels are you consuming while you're training right now? What snacks are you consuming beforehand and after? These are things that you want to take a log of to kind of just have you already in a flow that 8 week mark out. So take advantage of the time that you have now. Um, Make sure that you have a recovery shoe. If you don't have a recovery shoe, I have a shoe for that. Give me 1 second. Right, so after those long runs, think about the More V4. Right, it's a mega shoe. You see how much cushion is in this? Let me put it closer to my face. Yeah, it's a gigantic shoe. It's incredible though. So it's gonna be a 4 millimeter drop. So very cushioning. The underfoot is just like really squishy, supportive. The platform looks pretty heavy, but it's a lot lighter than what it looks like. I will be honest. For someone who loved all three versions of previous version of this shoe, this new one that just came out this month is really top tier. I really like how it feels very stable, right? It's a very stable, high platform, high cushioning recovery option. So think about what you're recovering in, something that a lot of people don't often talk about as well. You need to make sure that you have a foam rolling method. How do you recover your muscles? Just things to think about. But I would say necessarily gear, shoes, race day shoes, because you're not going to train in the same shoe you're going to race in. Remember that. Also thinking about your sweat wicking apparel. Make sure that your undergarments are sweat wicking. Excuse me if you hear a train going by. I live right by the Metro North. Um, you want to make sure that you know what compression gear you're wearing. We didn't talk too much about arm sleeves, but that is also an option outside of compression socks. So just know that. And then weather considerations. Make sure that you do experience running in the rain with the gear that you have now. Also think about, does the shoe that you're running in, does it have a great grip, right? So if it does rain, will you feel safe in the shoe that you're training in if it rains? So just those few things that I wanted to discuss. Please, let's go and take some questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all of this information. We have a couple of questions in the Q&A.
Okay.
So everyone feel free to keep dropping them in there, or after we go through the ones in the Q&A, if anybody wants to just unmute, that's also great. But we have a couple shoe questions.
Okay.
Someone would like to know, John Carlo would like to know, will the Super Trainer ever come in a 16 wide?
Oh, um, that's a really good question. And I will make sure to get your contact information so we can chat offline. I don't know if it's going to go to a 16. I know currently most of our shoes stop at a 14 or 15 currently in those models. However, I will definitely ask that question to someone that would know more than me. So we'll get back to you on that one.
Perfect. Thank you. And then Grace wants to know, just one more time, what was the name of the recovery shoe?
The More, More, and it's the version 5 that is on the market right now. Great recovery option.
Awesome. And then Samantha would like to know what, do you have a specific running belt that you like personally?
I have a ton of fanny packs. I don't have one that I necessarily, mm, no, but I think I currently see a lot of women training when I go out and do these demos with I don't know if you've seen this, it's very thin, it's black, and it's like neoprene. Those are the ones that I see currently out the most. So I would say they're the most popular. Again, I'm not running a marathon. I'm sorry, guys. So I don't really have everything that I'm talking about on hand, but I can give you the suggestions that I know that are working currently right now. So definitely look into one that is going to be super stretchy, and then it also has like there's a thin zipper in between that you can fit your gels and your ID and maybe some cash in there as well. But I think they want to I want to say they range anywhere from 20 to $40.
Also, if anyone here is not yet in our Facebook group for the training, that's also a great place to ask these types of questions, just to kind of crowdsource and see what other people are training. That way you can try a few things, see what you
Mm,
like, because everybody's different.
okay.
And then Randolph would like you to give the name of the race day shoe one more time.
Yes, the race
Thank
day
you.
shoe is the Super Comp Elite. And right now, the current model that is out is the version 4.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, we got one more that came in. Oh, this was a great question.
Okay.
What's the difference between the two carbon plated shoes and what makes one a race day shoe versus a training shoe?
Okay. So both, okay, you can see them. Okay, cool. So as you can see, kinda, the Super Comp Trainer actually has more of a stack height and cushioning than the Elite. One of them, which is the Elite, is a Peba foam. This one is going to be a Peba blend. So this is going to be super duper springy and bouncy, whereas this is going to be just as, but it does have more fuel cell in there. So it's a little bit less on that springy side. The carbon fiber plate is put in there to help absorb some of that shock. It's also going to support having that stiffness in there so that you can propulse off of the carbon fiber plate. So there's not too much of a difference in them as far as the genetic makeup, except for the midsole. And I would say the uppers on these are just a little bit different. The mesh upper on the trainer is a little bit different than what we have on the Phantom Fit on the Elite. So very minor, but I will say that the Elite, you'll definitely notice that this one is going to have more of a spring feel to it. And it costs more. It's $250 versus the trainer being 180.
That's an important consideration.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Plenty of people run in the marathons in the trainer. It's really up to you what you like, just so you know.
that's great to know. Okay, do you have any recommendations for slower runners and overall comfort?
Slower runners. I would say for slower runners, you definitely want to consider having a max or a premium cushioning model and option. I think that it is just a little bit more um, supportive of how you're going to be running. You're not moving as swift. You're going to be a little bit kind of more feet on the ground. I would definitely say look into that 1080 or the more. Many people have ran in the more, specifically people that are running on the slower side, which is not an issue. It's just about it's what you do. It's your body, but the more before I would say look into that, even though it's considered a recovery, people run in it and they do everything. So check that out. And if you do want to try something that is still lightweight, look into the Rebel V4. Let me get it as a training option. One of my favorites. Now, this is going to be our fuel cell model that does not have a carbon fiber plate. $140.
Excellent. Any other questions? Feel free to unmute and ask. These have been great questions thus far.
Mhm. I'm trying to think of anything else I had to add.
This has been so much great information.
I try to fit it all in there. I have notes too because I've done so many of these panels.
That's amazing.
Oh, another really good tip for day of and training in the rain. Make sure you protect your electronics. So a water resistant case or a pouch is going to be your friend. I would definitely consider that now. I would also say if you're someone who deals with chafing, this is a really good opportunity to look into some anti-chafing products like Body Glide, Some people are very simple and standard and use petroleum jelly, Vaseline. It works. Um, but we're talking about those areas that are prone to chafing, like your underarms, your inner thighs, your nips. Honestly, anywhere you can use any of those anti-chafing products. And water resistant shoes are also another good suggestion. Gore-Tex models are typically out there, so look into some of the options that I'm talking about that I've suggested. We do have some of those in Gore-Tex, just so you know.
Amazing. Any other questions? Also, if you're like me and you're gonna get off this call and immediately think of a question, again, feel free to just email us. If we don't know the answer on our staff, we can reach out to Atia for you. Oh, we got one from Laura. Hi,
Okay.
Laura. On the race day shoe, what is the expected longevity?
Okay, so the race day shoe, the expected longevity is not going to be your average 250 to 500 miles. It's not. You're definitely going to probably stay in that 250 to 350, if that. Yeah. And it also really does depend on how the runner is striking the ground, right? Because you have some people that heel strike, that run on their toes, and every area of the shoe looks a little bit more worn out. Over time it looks a little different. So 250 to 350 max, like, yeah, for sure.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions? Anybody?
Everything is trial and error, so please don't be afraid to experiment with different things during your training runs. Like what works for one runner may not work for you. So it's essential to find out what feels the most comfortable for you. So definitely, if you are someone that has never gotten their shoes fitted, I would say go and experience that at a running store near you or at the Run Hub New Balance location. They can definitely help you get into the right sizing and into the right shoes. So another thing that I want to put out
Yeah, that's great advice. I always tell people don't just ask your friends because they don't
there.
have your feet.
Mm-mm.
So they can give you a great starting off point, but everybody's a little bit different.
Yes, and not a lot of people understand, like, you may need a stability shoe. You don't know. You have to have an expert look at your feet when you're walking, when you're running, so that you have the proper fit. It's very necessary. So think about insoles if you are feeling a little achy after runs. You might want to consider getting some extra support in your shoes.
For sure. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, Atia, thank you
No
so
problem.
much for
Yeah.
sharing your knowledge. It's wild that people ask a question and you just know all of the specs off the top of your head.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to all of the TFK runners for joining us on this lovely Monday night and for all of your amazing questions. And we will talk to you all soon.
Thank you both.
Oh, no problem. Have a
Bye.
good night. Take care, guys.
You too.